deep breath and remember who you are. Yeah, they're gonna mess with you, baby, you're a star. Stepping in the spotlight, you know that it feels right. Time to put up a fight, honey. Got nothing left to lose, so let's start right now. Everybody want a piece of you. Gotta give them what they want, it's true. You're symphonic, yeah, so iconic. If you didn't know before, now you know. Now you know. Take a big step away from who you were. Flashing that smile and the whole world's a blur. Dancing in the limelight, oh you're on in the night. Looking fresh, looking tight, honey. Yeah, you got 'em hanging on your every word right now.
All right. Positively powerful on a Wednesday. Things are just absolutely insane today, Stacey. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm also not 100% sure that I'm even live anywhere because this thing has like everything blew up on me, and some of it good, some of it bad. Yeah, it says it we're there. So but Facebook is still like, I don't know, are you live? I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'm going to put a really long delay on it for you so that you can just be a little weird. I don't know.
I think we are on my LinkedIn, so
I'm going to share this. Are we live? Please. Please check in with us. So that was initially it was the checking in. It was like, we're coming to the final throes of summer, or at least the last half of it or whatever, I don't know. And I think a lot of people are in this, what I always call the doldrums. It's kind of like in the old sailing days when you'd go through a part of the ocean that there was never any wind, and you just had to make it through, and you had to just like believe that you were going to coast through this area until the wind picks up, and then you're sailing again. And I feel like that's where a lot of I posted something earlier on Facebook, and I was being very honest about where I am right now. And the response has been tremendous. First of all, thank you to everyone who's reached out. I'm beyond blessed to have so many people who care and who just wanted to check in and say, hey, thinking about you. Like, God, does that go a long way? Like, my day turned around. Like today, between 6 o'clock in the morning until 9:45, well, maybe 9 o'clock, it was like, oh. And then suddenly it was like, boom. Everything,
support.
Everything like support, support that has come in that I don't even know how to process yet, that I have to like address after this live stream, because I'm just so like, I don't even know. So originally I was going to talk about, let's just check in, see how we're doing. But then I had the idea of, talking about the importance of asking for help, the importance of being vocal about, hey, I am not in a good way right now, and I could use some support. I know there's a lot of people who have trouble doing that. Maybe it's their pride, their ego. We've talked about the ego every episode. The ego comes in because the ego is like our greatest enemy and our biggest fan. I don't know how to describe the ego. It's it's like a love-hate relationship with the ego. But that whole idea of you can ask for help. There's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Maybe what's behind your ask for help and how you ask for help and who you ask for help, maybe those are the little areas where
Yep.
you can have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
But that whole idea of asking for help is I know personally for me it's really, really hard to do, and I don't always I don't actually come out and ask for help. I just express how I'm feeling and people offer help.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
Yeah.
maybe it's like, all right, I see this post as a cry for help, even though it's not saying, "Can you help me?" You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, I think as to note around that, especially your post, I did have a chance to see it. It was very just real and authentic. So it's almost like you didn't need to ask,
Yeah.
you were, and so there's a difference between, I guess, yeah, that energetic difference of asking for help in a way that feels like pity and wanting to be saved versus just being real and genuine about what is true and alive for you in that moment. And so those energetic differences will get a very different response from people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel that because the authenticity of that, and that's what I tried to do, is because a lot of times I'm trying to post um positive things, and sometimes they come from well, they always come from the heart, but sometimes I post something positive and ambitious or something like that in a way to kind of boost myself,
yeah.
to
Yeah.
say
And doesn't
I
feel
feel
for
great
and
about today, where it's like,
yeah.
I kind of don't feel great about today, but I'm going to put this out there that I do feel great about today,
Mm,
hoping that I start to believe it. But at the same time, I think with social media, how many times do we see people out there and they're like, life is great, I'm here, everything's wonderful, and
and
then
it's not. Yeah.
you talk to them and they're like, oh my god, I'm like on death's door, and you're like, what's going on? And so I don't want to play that. I
Yeah.
want to be out there and say,
Yeah.
holy crap, this is hard. This is really
Yeah.
hard. And other
Yeah.
people need to know that it's okay that it's hard, I guess. Or I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the way to say it, but
Permission, validation. I think it feels validating, right? Because yeah, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a leader and things like that, there is almost this expectation that you don't struggle, right? And but it's more about, it's not that there's no struggle, it's how you get through it. It's do you keep moving through it, or do you give up, or do you, right? So yeah, it's being honest, and people feel validated if they're like, oh, I it's okay. Other people struggle too. They don't have perfect days every day. So
right.
it's almost
And
like a relief off their shoulders. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that it's expected that people who are always out there on social media, I think it's expected that you're supposed to be like, everything is great, like look at all this awesome, like just spread the awesome, and everything is wonderful. And I mean, that has its place, but at the same time, people also need to know that this is life. We're human beings, and
Yeah.
there's ups and downs, and we all feel those ups and downs, and it joins us together. And the other part of it was, I also look around and I see, I know who I am. I'm confident in who I am. I'm someone who thrives on service. I like to help people. I like to help. Like if I help someone have a good day, that makes me have a good day. And I see
Yep.
other people who thrive on the complete opposite, and who are putting themselves out there, and they're not being authentic, and they're just out
Yep.
there to make a buck or whatever it is.
Yep.
And no, it could be true that their persona on social media or out in the news or whatever is also false, where they're pretending to be crushing it and they're actually
Mm-hmm.
miserable. That could very well be. But I start to get a little upset where I'm like, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Let's call it, he's full of shit. I know this guy is full of shit, but
Right.
nobody else knows he's full of shit. And they're all like, yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm like, I'm not full of shit, but I'm like, no, no, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes that like
Yeah.
gets to me and I'm like, wait, what? That's not fair. He's a bad
Right.
man and he's doing well, and I'm a
Yeah.
good man and I'm not doing well, and then anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole thing. And that's a way for us to stay in our victim mentality, right? By doing
Right.
that. Yeah.
Right. And that I think that's something that I often forget is, and I think a lot of people forget that. You don't think about that. When you think that way, you
Mhm.
are in that victim mentality.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a revelation just this moment to think about what are some of the signs that you would say to the average person. What is something that they do in their daily life that would say you're in the victim mentality?
Any blame whatsoever, if
Okay,
you're
blame.
blaming. Yeah, probably a comparison.
Okay.
I have to double check that one.
So like if you're upset that, just like what I just said, like this guy, I know this guy's bad and I'm good, and how come he's doing well and I'm doing bad? Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
victim. Yeah.
victim mentality.
Yeah, because you're out of your power. So anytime you're not in your power, you're in a victim mentality. And so yeah, so it's
How do you stay in your power? I guess that's the big question of the day. It's like, how do you, when you go through these trials and tribulations of life, when life throws you this ridiculous curveball that you just can't hit,
Mhm.
how do you stay in your power in that situation? Like what do you do?
Surrender.
You
Yeah.
I know you're laughing because it sounds so easy, but
But it's not. Yeah. Yeah, you will feel like you're dying. If you're actually surrendering, it will feel like death because it's an ego death. And because it's recognizing this is not mine to fix. Life is happening through me. I am not in charge here. My ego thinks it's in charge. I am here. I use the word conduit. I'm here to steward what is given to me, what I do have, and that's my responsibility. And that's all. That's my responsibility is to come into my true nature, and it filters through Stacey, and I can bring that into the world. Anything else is not my responsibility. So yeah, it's this like a humbling. I find, yeah, it's like doing a surrender and a humbling experience, and the ego does not like that. So it will. I have times I think about this time I was like laying on my bed, just like I felt like my heart was just crushing because I had to let something go, and not try and control it, and not make meaning about it, and trust and have faith. And it's, I think, one of the hardest things to do, especially if you're a high achieving individual.
oh my god. That's it's so true though. That's it. I mean, that surrendering, I like that idea of being a conduit.
Yeah.
Um I've been struggling. I've been struggling so much with that with the ego, with having that, like how much of this, and I think for me a lot of times it's like how much of this is actually in my control. Like I think knowing what you can control and what you can't control, sometimes you can get bogged down in that.
Yeah.
you know? So I'm like, well, is this something that I can control? Well, we had this
The
discussion the
last
other
week,
day
yeah.
about, the Stoics and the Nietzsche
Yeah.
thing, and it's like, yeah, I can control my car and I can drive around and stuff like that, but it's like, what is the real control there? My control is I can go somewhere, but I can't control everything that happens while I'm out. If someone
Right.
comes crashing into me, I can't control that. That's where they're going. That's their thing.
Right. And one thing, there's a pretty famous like Alan Watts quote and passage, and in it he says that every step is an act of faith. We don't know that the floor is going to give out underneath our feet. Um, there's so much that we take for granted that we know or think we know. And that people that experience really bad or experience traumas and stuff learn. And that's why I really enjoyed, as my work as a trauma therapist, working with people that had gone through such horrific experiences, tend to get this lesson um, that anything can change at a moment's notice. That recognizing really each and every moment is an act of faith. We're just kind of take so much of it for granted because the sun, always rises the next day. So I think sometimes distilling it down to we actually are acting in faith all the time. What makes this other time any different? And the only thing that's making it different is a story in your head on what that means to you, you
The
know?
damn story. It's that damn
Back to
story.
the stories,
It's
yeah.
the story. That story is such a freaking thorn in my side. It really is. My God.
Yeah.
This is this,
Stories, responsibility, holding on. Yeah, it's all the same shit, but we'll keep learning the lessons or we'll keep getting given these obstacles until we learn the lesson, you know? Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, learning the lesson. That's been
Yeah.
that's
That's the hard part.
that's been a journey for me. I think back through my 20s and through my 30s and holy shit through my 40s. There's I did I you know I think I learned a lot of lessons and held on to and actually absorbed and held on to those like
Mhm.
lessons later than I should have. I think maybe that's what
Mm,
some people
yes.
that are maybe more successful in life, however you want to say that, is that maybe they get those lessons earlier, like they click earlier, whereas some of us it just keeps like hammering it into your head, and then you forget. Like I just forget. Like, oh yeah, like I learned this lesson. Why am I doing this again? Why am I doing this again?
That's just how we are. And so that's the other thing is
Stupid
uh,
humans.
I've learned to not judge myself for learning the same lesson over and over and over again. But that's what my
Ah.
soul is here. That's what my soul is here to learn. That's what it's here for. So it's like, okay, well, this is my thing,
So
you know?
that kind of reminds me of Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters,
Hmm.
the book about where he's a psychologist and he was doing past lives regression. And
Mm,
so he was going back and there were people that were suffering from various forms of um whatever, like they were waking up in the middle of the night having these terrible
yeah.
dreams, and then they bring it he brings them back into a former life, and it turns out that they drown, and so this is why they have such a fear of water now. And once they talk about that fear of water, that drowning, they're
Yeah.
fine, they're better, they've
Yep.
faced that trauma that's from a different
Yeah.
life. Now
Life.
you
Yeah.
can believe that or not believe that. I've listened to probably 5 or 6 of his books. I find them
Oh, wow.
fascinating. Just
Yeah.
absolutely fascinating. And it really connects with what you talk about in your coaching group, in our group, and it just goes into this idea of that there is this greater consciousness, there is
Mhm.
this universe that we're all connected to, and we have, some people believe that we have a number of times that we keep coming back in order to get it
The
right,
lesson.
to get the
Yeah.
lessons right. And it could be a different lesson each time, until finally it's like, all right, now your soul is prepared. Your soul is knowledgeable enough to move on to whatever that next level of
Yeah.
existence is
Yeah.
in the universe. Who knows
Right.
what that is?
Yeah, and
Um,
different philosophies have different things.
yeah,
There's the bardos of becoming in Buddhism. It could be in different dimensions for whatever.
right.
Like there's many different ways to look at it.
But if you think
Yeah.
there's definitely a through line in all of that stuff, and
Yeah.
if you cut through all of the dogma in each of those beliefs, you can kind of see the through line, and the through line is simple. It's being a good soul, loving,
Hmm.
loving others, caring for others, loving yourself, and
Yeah.
doing what's right in the world. Like
Yeah.
that's the actual through line. But so much goes into our lives that it's so easy to just miss that point, and to get confused and caught up in all of the other junk that happens. That it's all like smoke and mirrors, you know?
Right. Yeah, and it is. And so that's where we set up the support in our lives in a way that helps support it. I literally have right here this book, Outrageous Openness, which I read another I've been reading little chapters, and I read it in the group yesterday, and I somewhat recently somewhere else.
Oh, you mean that group that I didn't
That
show
that
up for
that
because
you didn't
it
show up for
wasn't in my
yesterday.
calendar?
You messaged me during the group. I'm like, I think Scott's coming. I'll give him a few more minutes. Scott doesn't show up. I mean, I can read another passage in here, but I love this because these are all little stories on surrendering.
What's it called again?
It's called Outrageous Openness, Letting the Divine Take the Lead by Tosha Silver. I love her. Um, I've been going through A Course in Miracles, um, and that's really helpful. And not to say like these are the answers, like you have to do these things. These are the things that I have found that if I wake up in the morning, read these things, study this, I have a better day. I'm a better person. I serve better. And I don't mean better as in better than, I mean embodying my best qualities,
Yeah.
saying so that I am love. I am like what is truth and what is illusion, and yeah, scarcity and fear and doubt and all that's coming from an illusion based off an ego identity, versus being in love and joy and peace is um being in that deep I identity or the divine identity. And so I see that is what I'm here to learn, is how to do that. um so that's my job every day is to come into my heart. um and
Hmm.
your life changes when you see that as like and I don't mean that as my job as a coach, I mean that my like job as a human being on this planet. Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's wow.
Yeah, and it's it's really helpful. I wrote down yesterday morning, an open heart cannot suffer. An open heart cannot be wounded. This is somebody else said this. And Stacey of even a few years ago would have just like gotten really pissed off. Right? At that, being like, fuck that's not true.
So
That's
what what's your definition of an open heart? What would you say that is?
mm, is to be present and feel. whatever's happening, and to not shut down, to not try and protect, to not try and guard, because your purpose here is to share your heart.
Man, I could see why that's the like a huge challenge in our humanness. That's so hard to do. That's so hard to do because our instinct is to protect. Our instinct is to push away anything that's bad that we don't want, that we think is bad for us. And
but our heart is the magnet that attracts. So if we're having a closed heart, then everything that we're wanting, we don't get, because we're literally closing it off in the name of protection. When we, quote, get everything we want by simply opening our heart, because what we want is already here. And when we're giving that vibration out, we see it reflected back to us all the time.
Yeah.
But if we're this, then what do you see reflected back? You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So here's I don't want to really put you on the spot.
Go ahead. I don't mind.
Do. No.
Go ahead.
So here's a hypothetical scenario. Man's walking down the street. No, he's, just having his day, and a text comes through that said, "This bad thing happened." And you're like, "Oh God." And then you're walking and he's walking and then he, steps on a nail and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake," and then he finally gets to work and he finds out that the place is flooded. And it's like, and I know this sounds really outrageous, but I can probably find someone that this exact thing is happening.
Yeah. I wonder what his name is.
Where they were walking. I mean, it wasn't me, but I'm just saying, like, these kind of things, they happen, and they happen in clusters, and just for Kelly and I, for my wife and I, just recently, and she just had major shoulder surgery, so she's at home. And she's, struggling with pain every day, and she's doing her exercises and trying to get her range of motion. Now, keep in mind, this shoulder that she had surgery on that's the shoulder that makes us money for our family. She does cardiac ultrasound. She uses her left arm. So if that is not repaired, then, I mean, there's a lot of pressure there, right? So all of this stuff happening. So this guy walks through and all this stuff is happening, and then he comes to work and it's like, and you're talking about open heart, acceptance, surrendering. So take over that man's persona, or it could be a woman, doesn't matter. And tell me, these things just happened to you. You stepped on a nail, you got a couple of bad texts, and you got to work and the office was flooded. What do you do? But clock is ticking.
So I heard "be here now." All those things are trying to get him to be here now. They're calling him back. Come back.
What does that mean?
Right?
Be here now.
It means the nail. Feel the fucking nail. Like, be here now. You're not present. He's not present. He's in his head. He's planning. He's afraid. He's in lack. So all these things are like, it's wake up. These are all a call to wake up.
So it's not the actual action that has just happened. It's the meaning of the action that has just happened. Like the fact that you stepped on a nail on, is not really the issue. It's this is something telling you that, like, all right, globally, you need to wake up. Globally, you need to, you know what I mean? It's not that one specific thing.
Yeah. And who cares? It's a nail. Like,
well, what if it's rusty? Now I got to go get a tetanus shot. Come on.
Then you go get a tetanus shot. Again, it doesn't matter. Be here now, right? Do the thing. Like, do whatever's in front of you, right? Like,
so
that's it.
You don't get upset. You don't get, or is it okay to get upset? Is it okay to, like,
we're gonna have feelings,
drop 50 expletives? And okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're gonna have feelings, and so that's a whole, other process too. Is we actually, the more we learn to feel and accept our feelings, and not judge our feelings, and not push our feelings away, but also not, hold on to our feelings. The more room, I know it's complicated. This is why, like, I have a job. Like, this can't be solved on a podcast, right?
What?
So,
Everything can be solved on a
it's solved on a
podcast.
podcast.
Everything can be solved on.
Okay, sorry. Everything can be solved on a podcast. But the more nuance that you want to get into, then it's easier to have like a conversation with a real.
I've been so enthralled in this conversation that I haven't paid attention to
looked
the
at the
comments.
time. We have to go. Oh,
No,
we have comments.
Yeah, we have comments. So Andy Chapman, who is an old friend of mine, I think he's in Rochester now. He moved to Thailand some years ago. So he says you're alive, and you're live. Yes, that's when I first
you asked in the beginning.
So thanks for letting me know that. When you initially did, I wasn't paying attention.
I like how you ask everybody a question, but you don't.
But I don't look at I don't look at the Matt. I can't play keep up with the Joneses or make comparisons. It's enough to just keep swimming. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And that's something that's a lesson that I'm constantly struggling with. Just constantly struggling.
Right. Well, that's the story that you brought up of like, look at this guy and this, and then look at me, but it's stay in your lane, build your life, do your thing. Yeah.
And Steve makes a good point where he says, always put yourself in someone else's shoes when advocating so that you can understand both sides of the issue, and then it'll be easier to find common ground. Steve is also the co-host of the Finding Common Ground podcast, which means that, yes,
I love that.
Podcasts can solve the world's problems.
All problems.
Paul Tracy says, lead with openness. And also he says, be present even to pain. And Todd will tell you a joke to cheer you up because Todd says, stop yelling. Where is it? Here it is.
Oh,
stop yelling.
Sorry, Todd. Were you offended? Did I offend you? It's called passion, Todd. I don't know if you understand that word or have felt any of those feelings before, but it's called passion.
That's so funny. I always love when Todd chimes in something that's marginally related, but always funny. And you did make a point that time is coming up.
Yes.
So it's just another journey on Positively Powerful, where we start with one idea and end up somewhere else almost entirely. But that's the fun of it. That's
fun.
That's why when I sent you a message and I'm like, so are you my business coach or my therapist? Because there's definitely some crossover there. And the funny thing is that you guys were in the meeting that I was missing when I texted you that. So yeah. And then I'm like, how come it's not in my calendar? I'm looking at my calendar and all of a sudden it goes boop and it pops up, weekly group coaching. And I'm like, what? Like, what?
I'm busy on Thursday. You even responded to this weeks ago. I'm like, I know, but on Thursday the 7th.
I expected that it would change in my calendar. I didn't know that
It should have. I mean, maybe
it should have, but it didn't.
But that's until. I don't know. It's also Mercury retrograde. We can blame it on that.
And I got two guys in the studio here that also didn't see it on the calendar until suddenly it popped in. And I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
I changed it weeks ago.
I don't know. It's that Mercury, whatever. Uranus is in retrograde or some shit.
Mercury is in retrograde. Only a few more days. Hold on tight. We're almost there.
Is it only a few more days? It feels like it's been like 7 months since this has been in retrograde. How long is this happening?
No, it's only 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Come on. 3 weeks? This
it's about 3 weeks every 3 months.
2022.
That sounds like a Scott problem.
Yeah. Mercury is constantly in heavens to Murgatroyd.
Take a deep breath and
let's wrap this up. Stacey Steinmiller, RadicalLifeCoach.com. She will change your effing life, I promise you. And then if you don't let her change your life, she will come to your place of business and slap you. She actually offered to do that.
I almost drove to there yesterday.
I know, because I said please, but you know.
I was going to, but I did a couple other things. And I didn't want to deal with the traffic. But one of these days, I will show up when you're having a hissy fit again.
You better hope when you ask Stacey to come slap you that there's a lot of traffic. Otherwise, she will. Rockvox.com for all of your rock boxing needs. Podcasting can change the world. We just proved that in a live stream. Thank you for joining us once again. We'll catch you.
Flashing that smile in the hope